From the infamous legend of the Lost Dutchman to the mysterious Spanish gold mines of Ecuador, here are 10 of the most impressive and famous forgotten gold mines. The Lost Dutchman Gold Mine. Undoubtedly the most famous lost gold mine in Arizona is the Lost Dutchman. In the late 1800s, when the gold rush was reaching its limits, a German prospector supposedly began showing up in the city of Phoenix with a ridiculous amount of gold ore. According to the historical reports, this guy definitely existed, but whether or not he really did have massive amounts of gold ore is unknown. He apparently started telling people that all the gold he had acquired came from a secret mine located in the Superstition Mountains. However, the German man refused to reveal the mine's location to anyone, and he eventually died in 1891. Seeing how hungry for gold people were back then, it's no surprise that for the following years, people from all over Arizona searched long and hard to find the Lost Dutchman mine. There were failed expeditions, fake maps being sold, and all kinds of rumors. In 1895, there was even a story about the mysterious mine in the San Francisco Chronicle. However, to this day, nobody has ever found the Lost Dutchman gold mine, and other than a few die-hard treasure hunters, the mystery of Superstition Mountains and the hidden gold has been forgotten. Lost Spanish gold mines. Far from Arizona in the South American country of Ecuador, a Canadian miner has reportedly discovered the remains of a long-lost road that could lead the way to a forgotten mining center used by Spanish colonizers. The discovery was made by field teams searching for one of the historical gold mining centers supposedly in the area, described in ancient papers from Ecuador, Peru, Spain, and even the Vatican. Spanish colonizers apparently operated very successful gold mines in the area between 1565 and 1606. The Canadian miner is hoping that by tracing the route of the road found by the field teams that he can discover the path once taken to the potentially lucrative gold deposits. The CEO of the company the Canadian miner works for claimed that historical records show that there are forgotten treasures in the area, and that gold was definitely produced and cast into ingots to be transported to Quito. Because of this, they assumed the ingots would have been transported using horses or donkeys on a proper road. The mining company believes that at the end of the newly discovered road is a lost wealth of gold. Because this story only just surfaced in 2019, no gold has yet to be found, but it is a very real possibility that somewhere in the Ecuadorian wild is a forgotten gold mine worth a literal fortune. Secret gold mine under the mountains. A man named Adam Palmer has spent the last 10 years trying to find a secret gold mine hidden under the mountains of British Columbia. As reported by the CBC, Adam has spent several weeks out of every summer for the past decade trying to find a mythical forgotten mine known as Slumach's Gold. This is located near Pitt Lake, deep in the mountains. Adam's search has taken him down countless miles of logging roads, across icy glaciers, and deep into the coastal forest. However, every adventure has yielded nothing. He has never found evidence of the supposed mine until now. Adam now believes that as of 2019, he knows where the gold mine is hidden. It's in a remote alpine meadow flanked by jagged mountains not farther than 31 miles, 50 kilometers from Vancouver. After Adam found an abandoned log cabin, a rusty shovel, and an old chisel, he believes that he's now very close to the location of the mine. Of course, thousands of people have searched for the forgotten mine over the years, apparently worth billions of dollars, and nobody has ever found it. So we just have to wait and see. Do you have any gold? Perhaps gold jewelry? Or even gold coins in a retirement portfolio? Even if you don't have any, your body has tiny amounts of gold in it. That's right, you have gold inside of you, in amounts almost too small to detect, but it's there. Let me know what you think of that by writing me a comment down below. Then be sure to subscribe if you have not already. There are even more exciting videos coming out very soon, and you don't want to miss them. Lost Josephine Gold Mine. The Lost Josephine gold mine was first documented in records from Spanish Jesuit priests back in 1650. In these ancient records, the mine is said to be the most valuable deposit of gold in the entire world. However, 3 decades later, the priests who supposedly found this valuable place were driven out from New Mexico during the 1680 Pueblo Revolution, and the exact location of the mine was subsequently lost and mostly forgotten. But not entirely. In 2013, a treasure hunter claimed to have found the legendary Lost Josephine gold mine in the mountains of Utah. This man claims that there's nearly $2 billion worth of gold hidden within his mine. His name is Gary, and he thinks he and his sons are about to get rich. As of 2013, they were just getting the federal government to award them permission to dig for their prize, but as reported by the Daily Mail, the United States Forest Service officials have repeatedly said that the mine does not exist. The officials also don't really like it when treasure hunters deface the natural caves to search for a treasure that's been forgotten for hundreds of years. Nonetheless, Gary and his son obtained a mining permit and got digging, but they have yet to find any gold. Considering this was back in 2013 and Gary still is not rich, it might be safe to say he's digging in the wrong spot. Leech River and the Lost Cave of Gold. On Vancouver Island in British Columbia, there is a place called Leech River. The river is named after an Irishman, Peter Leech, who came to British Columbia in 1858. According to BC Gold Adventures, Peter Leech found gold near the river in 1864. After his initial discovery, the entire town was flooded with gold miners, and in less than a month, at least 3,000 men had come along to reap the rewards. By 1876, an estimated $100,000 of gold had been recovered. However, actual value is undetermined. Most of the gold in the area was dug out of crevices in the bedrock or from the riverbed, but according to legend, there is still an untapped source of gold in the area. There is supposed to be a small cave with a massive vein of gold extending deep into it, but nobody knows where it is. The first guy who found it apparently went on a drinking binge, and when he woke up, he could not remember the location of the cave filled with gold. Today, the cave still remains a half-forgotten legend that may or may not exist. The abandoned gold mines of Death Valley. Death Valley in California is one of the most inhospitable places on the planet. It boasts some of the most extreme temperatures that you can imagine. Death Valley was also once full of gold mines. For a few decades in the early 1800s, Death Valley was full of gold miners. But it didn't last for long. No large production of gold ever occurred, and eventually most of the mines were abandoned. But after the decline, there was a sudden spike of interest in Death Valley around 1900. Of course, this did not last long either, because the 1907 financial crisis brutalized all the mining operations in the USA, and by 1915 all gold mining in Death Valley was over. Today, the remnants of a short-lived mining industry are mostly forgotten. The entirety of Death Valley is now a national park, and its history of gold has been more or less forgotten by the public. However, it is widely believed that some gold could still be found in the area, but nobody will ever find it because all prospecting and mining has been banned, as Death Valley is now considered a national monument. The Lost Bill Kelly Mine. In West Texas, the Chihuahua Desert is a pretty miserable environment. This place was the death of many early pioneers who disappeared in its extensive mountains or were killed by the Apache. There were also Mexican raiders, dangerous outlaws, and quite a few venomous snakes. This was not the kind of place you wanted to hang out. However, somewhere in the remote country, it's said that the Bill Kelly Mine is still hidden and that it contains a fortune of ridiculous proportions. Bill Kelly supposedly found his gold mine at the age of only 19 way back in the late 1800s. He had been living on a cattle ranch when he stumbled upon the gold mine in the mountains, and after telling the people he lived with about it, they simply laughed at him. So Bill went and got some of the gold that he found appraised, and it turned out that it was worth a fortune. Bill ended up running from the cattle ranch out of fear that the people he lived with would kill him and steal the location of the gold mine, and for the rest of his life, Bill passed from cattle ranch to cattle ranch, every now and then passing on the story of the mysterious gold mine until his death. It was never properly mined, but so many people found out about it that it became a legend in West Texas. Today, it's said that the Bill Kelly mine is on the Mexican side of the Rio Grande. Many men have claimed to have found the mine, but there has been no evidence of it. Whether the place truly exists or not is anyone's guess, and the legend of Bill Kelly has mostly been forgotten. Forgotten Yukon Gold Town. Not only do mines go forgotten, but so too do the towns that once catered to the gold miners. In the Yukon Territory of Canada, a place called Keno City is perhaps the most forgotten gold rush town in existence that still has a population. There are now only a few people living in this forgotten town, which at the time of the gold rush had been full of residents getting rich off the minerals deep in the earth. Keno City began as a Swedish prospector's claim in 1919, and it became one of the largest producers of silver ever in Canada. But in 1989, the mine closed down, the people left, and the entire region was pretty much forgotten. According to the 2016 census, there are now approximately 20 people living in Keno City. The city is so small that it relies on drinking water trucked in by the government. Their groundwater is full of uranium, arsenic, and other dangerous minerals. There's no more treasure left in the forgotten mine just outside of town, and it's probably just a waiting game until the 20 residents pack up and leave for more fertile ground. The Legend of the Cement Mine. When the legend of the cement mine was born, the gold boom was already nearly at its end in California. People didn't think that there could be a new mine that they didn't already know about, but alas, in 1857, when two German migrants were wandering through the Sierra Nevada, they stumbled upon a giant hoard of gold. However, tragedy struck immediately. Before the men could properly excavate the site, one of them fell and broke their leg, and the other was forced to leave his friend in the wilderness to die. Such was the way back in the 1800s. After reaching the nearby town, the surviving German told the locals about the mine, and a bunch of prospectors set up camp in the eastern Sierra to try and find what is now known as the cement mine. Even Mark Twain joined the search in the 1870s, leaving behind a brief account of his experiences in the publication Roughing It that came out in 1872. Even though so many people went in search of the lost cement mine, it was never found. In 1980, a plaque was installed near the Owens River Road with a dedication to the prospectors and the mystery surrounding the elusive treasure. The Dutch Oven Mine of San Bernardino. The story of the Dutch Oven Mine of San Bernardino began in 1894 when a railroad worker was surveying the Clipper Mountains in California. This railroad worker supposedly happened upon an old abandoned house built of stone, and farther along he came upon a spring which led over a hill and into an old Spanish camp filled with old mining tools. Close to the camp was also a mine shaft allegedly rich with gold. The railroad worker spent the day wandering around the camp and ended up finding nuggets of pure gold stuck inside of an old Dutch oven. He took the nuggets, returned to his camp, fled to Los Angeles, and drank the money he earned from the gold until he was broke. He tried to find the mine again afterwards, but it eluded him at every turn until he eventually gave up. All these years later, the story of the Spanish camp and the Dutch oven filled with gold is nearly completely forgotten. Nobody has ever come forward to claim the find, and to this day it's undetermined whether the camp was ever real at all. Do you think there's any gold left in these forgotten mines? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. See you again soon for another awesome video.